What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the Get the Bag podcast. We're in second episode of 2024. And
Let's go.
that's crazy. Super
Yeah.
excited for hope. Well, wishing everybody a happy new year. Hope everyone is kind of feels prepared, planned. I kind of have my calendar back in the back, and when I was taking a look at it, I was like, dang, 2024 seems I'm ready for 2025. Like it's just
Yeah.
seems like it's just gonna go um
Filling up. Filling up.
really, really quick. But today you'll given that it's 2024, we wanted to go over just have a discussion in terms of um what are things that we're doing this year? What are some things we're switching up to double our business? Not just with the podcast, but as in general in real estate and in anything, right? That we want to accomplish. What are some tactics that we can put in place to do that? But of course, before we get all into that, please, subscribe, like this video. We're on here, we will be switching up the schedule a little bit, being more intentional,
Hmm.
not just with our time, but with the quality of topics that we talk about. So, we'll be on here twice a month. We're hoping to get more guests on here as well. That was really, really helpful. We found with a lot of our
Yeah.
audience. So switching things up a little bit, but we're still coming in with the same value and knowledge for all of you. But I think when we were thinking about what we wanted to talk about, especially for this upcoming, this kind of like real first episode, we're kind of thinking like, what's our word for 2024?
Right.
And how what does this word mean to us, and what are we how are we using this word to double our business? And kind of want to start with you first, Tim. With so many things happening,
Hmm.
in 2024 being an exciting year, Kobe year. I just realized looking at
Yeah.
up at
Kobe.
my Kobe
I love
poster.
that. I was going to mention that
um
too.
yeah, 24. Last year was Jordan year. This year is Kobe year. So we'll just keep it going. I don't know what next year, 2025, will be, but yeah. What would you say your word for 2024, and like kind of how you're instilling that for like doubling the business and whatnot?
Well, I think it rolled in from the late part of 2023 into 2024. So the the actual word, it's not like motivation or anything. It's more systems and how
Mhm.
important systems are in your business and how it can actually double your efficiency, double your income as well too. And
I like
I
that.
think we've been doing a really good job of implementing systems as of late.
Yeah.
And I think you've been the big spearhead and trying to organize that and uh, you know not having the correct systems. You kind of realize like, wow, this is when you have um, a system that can actually be more efficient and then accountable as well. I think that you just see the difference in how your business operates from there. So I think just for me, the systems would be the one word that will actually kind of double everything, not just the revenue coming in, but this double like deal flow, double efficiency, just double production in regards to maybe staffing. So I think it all
Mhm.
roots from that one word.
Yeah, that's a really good one for sure. I guess a follow-up question is like, what's one focus under systems that you're prioritizing, say this quarter? Like we can say for the
Hmm.
year, but your word for the year is systems, which is amazing because it's underestimated, right? People really don't understand the value of the metrics in it because it's not fun. Like
Right.
not fun at all. So what
Right.
what kind of part of the systems are you sort of prioritizing this quarter to kind of hit the ground running and hit those targets for
Well,
2024.
I think with what we're doing is that your focus is on acquisition and my focus has been on disposition. So really honing down on the disposition process, or just uh, being very intentional on the buyers and how that process
Mm-hmm.
works, from
Mm-hmm.
passing off a locked up deal to dispositions and contacting the right buyers for that particular property,
Right.
and um, just being more, I guess, active in that, and then understanding not just from the disposition side. It's more like after we do get an investor or a buyer, um, it's the transactional, or not the transactional side, but the closing side of things, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
just making sure, I guess you would say, transactional coordinator side of things,
Right.
because that
Right.
kind of rolls into that part of it, and then
Mm-hmm.
just being more intentional about how that process works. So if we do onboard somebody for that, then I think that's important, because it's a plug and play, and that person can
Right.
just be responsible with making sure the closing happens smoothly from that
Yeah.
point. But I think to answer your question, yeah, more of the disposition side is my focus for this quarter for sure.
Yeah, and that's a good one. For those who don't know, Tim and I have, known each other, gosh, almost 3 years, or going about that amount of time. And so we kind of each had our own separate businesses going. That's a whole different process, right? When it's just you and your own. Sometimes holding yourself accountable is more difficult. And so, because of what we're building, um, and kind of the long term goals that we have that we want to accomplish together, we consolidated our wholesaling business. And so with that comes its own challenges too, on like figuring out what each other's roles are. So once we consolidated what each other's roles are, you need to add systems. So that's why I love that you mentioned that, because um, that is so key, especially when you're working with somebody. It's like, how do we hold each other accountable? Like, because it's no longer you checking in on yourself. It's like, well, it's not just me checking in, but it's also, well, the numbers. Like, if we have a baseline of, however many deals that we want to put across the table or close, or leads, and it's not happening, like, where are we failing? So it really kind of is almost like a mirror, right, into like your business, these KPIs and systems. And so I think, I appreciate you mentioned spearheading it, because for those who also don't know, I quit my job like January 1st. And that was a big thing. And so I'm in this entrepreneurship full time. And that's been a whole adjustment too. Because before I always just had a 9 to 5, and I was just making the entrepreneurship happen on the side. And it's just something I was always kind of just not ready to kind of go all in, and till decided, like, the time I'm wasting at a 9 to 5, I could be doing something else. And I know I kind of mentally prepared, like, there's going to be struggles with that. There's struggles with anything, but I rather it come like from something that we're building, right? So um I kind of have no choice either. I'm like, well, I'm here all day, I'm working on my own. I don't have like a job where I, kind of use as a scapegoat, right? So it's kind of like, well, we have to I have to spearhead it, right? Like, we have to get things going. Otherwise it's not really, we won't have that visibility. And so that's been eye opening for me too. So I think from the systems perspective, it's so key. And that's something that I wish I would have started sooner if we were to ask ourselves that. Um, but just doubling your business alone, if you can create systems with your metrics and KPIs, and that's something as you grow, right? You start, but just start tracking things. It's gonna be like, once you start tracking how much you're spending on your marketing, and how much, like, was it contract to lead, and then how much it costs per lead, you start looking at things differently. Like, wait, where's our money going? It just creates that visibility. So I think, yeah, systems is a great word for 2024. As far as me, my word, and this is something I think I mentioned the other day, is I think in line two with system, but it's execute. It's like you can have whatever, um, this is, I think I've seen a lot of people talk about your morning routine or having or time blocking or writing down your goals. But if you're not working, if you're not doing any, like if you're not putting in the work, all that, you might as well throw it out the window. Like, what are you doing wasting time? Just get to work, especially when you're in the beginning stages of your entrepreneurship journey. Whether it's like, collaborate, because I see it as like we're almost starting over in a sense, right? Like with how we're consolidating everything. But it's great because we have the knowledge now. It's not just starting from scratch, like with everything, right? So I see it as like, well, we have the blueprint of what we have to do. You just have to execute. And that's always been my problem in the past, is not consistently executing for whatever reason. They would either be life getting in the way or work. We just come up with excuses, and I'm like, no, I'm sick of the excuses. I'm dedicating this time, and especially now, like there's just no if, ands, or what about it, because um there's no excuses. There's no scapegoat except for me. So I'm like, all the distractions out the way, like let's just go to work. And I think when you look at it from that perspective, and just like talking to sellers, making offers, and that's something that I think Chris says a lot too. Like it's as simple as that, and the rest will follow. Like, and that's why it's like we can put the systems in place and execute on those systems. Like you're going to double money in your business. So don't overthink it. And I think that's the problem too, is like people overthink it, right? So I think just those little things you can implement can double your business. Start tracking what you're doing in your business, and then talk to sellers, make offers. And that this can go to any industry, right? Whether it doesn't have to be real estate. But for the most part, any sales where it involves sales, you're talking to clients, you're talking to customers, like that's it. And making offers, making them an offer that makes sense to get money. I think you're on mute or something, Tim. No, I think I can't hear you, but I can keep talking in the meantime. And you just come on whenever, yeah. But I think for the most part, people overcomplicate making money. And I also started changing my relationship with money, the mindset around money. It was more on the, I think before, it's kind of that scarcity mindset that you don't deserve to be rich, or you don't deserve to be successful. You're too scared to be successful. I just took all that away. I think we got you now, Tim. I just took all that away. Like my mindset is, um, I'm stepping in, and I've earned this. I'm worthy of it, and it's like money comes to me abundantly. Like I'm still doing those little routine like mindset things, but it's like it's not taking over most of my morning or whatever. I'm just going into work and getting your mindset right.
No, I agree. I mean, I think you bring up a good point, because if you have all the systems in place and you don't execute, then that's going to be the main, um, downfall. But also, with the system in place, where exactly in the systems that you're not executing in, right? And that's really important, because if someone or yourself is not performing on the execution on certain things, you'll know exactly where, and you would know how to fix it, or we would know how to fix it from there. Because and that's why the systems and execution go hand in hand, with your business. And you've you kind of done a kind of a 180 on where you were at the beginning or last year to now,
You're like
right?
December,
This,
just a couple weeks.
I know, I know, I know. So the switch was on. So, but
It literally was. Oh yeah, I was wondering if you noticed it too. because I literally I was still working at my job, still playing. Actually, my timeline was to stay at my job until the end of January, but I just couldn't take it anymore. It was just like too much. I was
Mhm.
so focused, and like I was like I'm tired of this. I think I'm finally kind of fed up with being in this situation. It's just time to trust my capabilities, and what we came here to do in general, like what we want to
Mhm.
build, right? um but I believe everything happens for a reason, and I've taken a lot of the skills and knowledge I've learned, even all the jobs I've had, and I'm applying it now, and I do believe it's helped in how we're orchestrating all of this. But it was
Mhm.
like a switch. It was like, kind of expect our, January 1st, we had our call like to wish ourselves Happy New Year. And it's like, well, I quit my job, and it was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it was just something I decided over that weekend that, the time I might as well start with a clean slate. Like, why waste
Yeah.
a month? So, with that opportunity, you just sometimes just have to take it. You have to execute. I executed on that, and that's something I've been thinking about, like
Mhm.
me leaving and me going all in on the business. And so here I am. I have this opportunity. So what are you going to do with it? Yeah,
Right.
it's time to execute. But building the systems as we go. So for anybody that's, whether you're starting out, or I'm sure even if you're closing a deal here and there, you need to add some form of a system in order to double. How do you know how you're doing in your business if you don't have that visibility? If you can't tell me how much money you're spending each month, each day, each week, and then what's your cost per lead? I think I've this has also been eye opening too, with me kind of stepping into like the more operator role too, with the metrics and systems, is um having like a baseline. Like, how do you know that
Mhm.
what you're working towards if you don't know what you're working towards? Like, if
Yeah.
you don't even know how many leads you need to get, if you don't know how much money you want to make at the end of the year. So we kind of had to start with that, right? Like, we did like a business plan. So systems isn't just KPIs. It's just
Mhm.
it's like the whole kind of company as a whole, where you're looking at how much money do I want to make, and then you reverse engineer it, right? So, okay, what do I need to put in place to make, 600? And I think our goal is 500 to $750,000, which is quite hefty.
Mhm.
But it's definitely attainable uh
Yeah.
to do, just especially the markets that we're in, the opportunities that present ourselves. So start with your baseline of how much you want to make, and then reverse engineer how many leads would I need to make, or would I need to have, how many offers do I need to make, how many contracts on average, what's the deal size that I need to make, in order to get. And then you'll start kind of seeing like it's very predictable what you have to do, but it's the consistency and the execution where that comes into play. So I'm happy to share the resources that kind of helped me,
Mhm.
and I'll put that in um the notes description down below. But definitely kind of taking your business to the next level, you have to execute on those things.
Mhm.
It's as
No,
simple as
I
that.
agree. Yeah, I agree. And I think, uh, like you're saying, you flipped the switch, and then we implemented all these systems, and then now we have a checklist of things that we're executing on. But
Mhm.
then what we did was reverse engineer how much revenue that we're going to make, but also that gives us a baseline of like, okay, how many deals, how many calls, how many all that that we
Right.
need to do on a daily basis, weekly or a monthly basis. And that's kind of eye opening. If you guys ever do that, then you're like, whoa, this is exactly what I need to do. And if you want to achieve, that's where you'll have your ups and downs, like up months, low months, and then you can go back and track exactly what happened. Like, was
Mhm.
it did we didn't have enough leads, or you know um, did we lose a lot of contracts and at closing, or
Right.
what was the process, or
Right.
where where exactly do we need to improve on from there.
Yeah, because when you're going, 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 and treating it like like a hustle almost. So you're not really creating time to take a look at it. You're going to close deals one way, but it's like not on a scale level, because eventually you want to
Hmm.
scale it, right? So that you're not working in it. You want to hire people and things of that nature. So I think that's a great point, that people don't really take time to consider, because when you're learning and starting out, you're just like, oh my, you're so overwhelmed, right? So when you're starting out, you just want to talk to people and make offers. And then eventually you want to, but if you're closing a deal here and there, you kind of already have a basic understanding. Start creating, putting together systems, set your metrics, your KPIs for each sector of the business: acquisitions, dispositions, like we talked about, marketing, transaction coordinator, things of that nature. You're going to see a huge difference. And it was eye opening to be like, oh, wow, we need X amount of leads every month, or, over
Hmm.
200 leads. And out of those net leads that are qualified, we need X amount. So then it kind of, you have little goals to attain when you break it up that way. So, yeah, really, really great discussion here. I know we're at the end. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Like I said, I'll drop some of the links of the resources that sort of helped me to just kind of put this all together. But again, feel free to reach out to us. We're going to be on here every other week, but we'll be on social media more. Hope you guys
Hmm.
reach out to us if you have any specific questions. But anything you want to leave the audience with, Tim?
No, I think just also just reach out for any kind of questions in regards to this systems or execution, or or even comment below like what you're doing in your business to double it in 2024.
Yeah,
We'd
let
love
us
to hear
know.
from you.
Maybe we'll do
Yeah,
a check-in, like a six
yeah,
month
for
check-in,
sure.
to see where we're at. But hope you guys enjoyed the show. We're again, we'll be dropping more episodes, but hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and talk to y'all